This is Women's Leadership Success, episode number 131. As a woman, you understand the unique hurdles and biases you encounter on your journey to leadership success. From feeling like the odd one out in meetings to grappling with societal stereotypes, these challenges can leave you wondering how to break through and thrive. In part 2 with Shelmina Abji, former VP of IBM and author of Show Your Worth, we'll cover these crucial topics: the power of honing your unique competencies to stand out in a crowded field, how to step outside your comfort zone to seize new growth opportunities. We'll explore the strategies for crafting your leadership success plan and establishing a compelling personal brand. And you'll learn the secrets of building meaningful relationships with allies and mentors who can propel your career forward. Plus, we'll delve into the nuanced experiences of balancing leadership with motherhood. Together, let's unlock the secrets to overcoming biases and harnessing influence within your company that will propel your leadership journey to new heights. Listen now and embark on a transformative path to career success.
Welcome to Women's Leadership Podcast, showing you how to influence people, improve your performance, and advance your career. Brought to you by women's leadership and career expert Sabrina Brahm and womensleadershipsuccess.com. Here's your chance to meet women trendsetters leading the way to success, accomplishment, and balance in business and life. No matter if you're a manager, CEO, or entrepreneur, join Sabrina for coaching and no-nonsense advice to improve your career and bottom line.
Shelmina Abji is a TEDx speaker, board member, former vice president at IBM, and an angel investor. She started her career as a software engineer and then moved into sales and sales leadership, leading global teams to deliver over $1 billion in annual revenues and serving as a key decision maker in hiring and promoting hundreds of professionals. She received extensive leadership training at IBM, Harvard University, and UCLA. As a global empowerment speaker, Abji has addressed attendees at companies, conferences, and colleges that include Google, Edward Jones, National Center for Women in Technology, Black Women in STEM, and Harvard. So welcome again, Shelmina. So glad to have you here today.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me, Sabrina.
In your book, you mentioned that as a woman, especially a woman of color, you faced unique internal and external barriers as you scaled up the corporate ladder. Can you share what these barriers were and how women like you can overcome them?
Yes. So, when you don't see leaders that look like you, that you don't identify with, it is very easy to settle for small successes. It's not easy to envision yourself there. And so that we create an internal barrier for ourselves because we don't feel that we are worthy of getting there. And I discussed the fear of speaking up, for example, but it's also fear of failure. It's also fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. It's fear of being judged. There are so many different fears we face because we don't feel that we belong in those high-level positions. And then the flip side of it is, because the senior leaders don't see women like us in leadership roles, they don't automatically give us the benefit of the doubt. They don't automatically think of us when they want to promote anyone. In fact, because they have never seen anyone that looks like us, they might actually undermine our capability. It's not their fault. It's just that they have never seen anyone like us in a particular role. And so it is up to us, everyone that is listening to you, it is up to us to own it, to make sure that we understand we are worthy, to work towards it. This is not just about saying, I'm worthy and I should get this. It's not a sense of entitlement. This is hard work. You build the competencies. You step outside your comfort zone. You build the leadership brand. You build the relationships. It requires all of this for you to get to these higher levels. And when you come across people that undermine your capabilities, please don't react, because when you react, you give your power away to them. You will reinforce the negative biases and the stereotypes that exist. Mm-hmm. Instead, just say, you know what? I am going to prove my worth and change their opinion. Slowly but surely, you will chisel away at those negative biases, because you will start changing the mindset and the opinions of the people that you work with. And so the next time someone else who looks like you steps into that position, she will get the benefit of the doubt because you blazed the trail.
I like that. I'm just wondering, so you have a boss who doesn't get your worth or what you're capable of. Is there a way to bring it up so that you point out what you've done? Or are you just waiting for that person to notice it?
No, you never wait for anyone. This is what I tell women is the reason the numbers are as bad as they are is we cannot wait for the organizations to change or for the people to change. We have to be the change we want to see. And so as far as your boss is concerned, you at the end of the day work for your boss, not an organization. So it is up to you to build that relationship. And in my book, I actually teach you how to build that relationship, to form a positive mental model of your boss. And then when you intentionally show up to work every single day in every interaction to contribute value, you will contribute towards the success of your boss. And that's how you earn the relationship, is by creating immense value, high levels of value, unique value, by leaning into your authenticity and your uniqueness, that you become essential to your boss's success.
And do you actually have a conversation about what you accomplished?
100%. And it's not even, for me, it's not even called self-advocacy. It's just stating facts. So when every organization has a review, and you should prepare for that review, you should talk about what you have achieved. Your boss should know. However, you must take it upon yourself and make sure that he or she has a front row seat to your experiences and your value contributions. Enlist their help when you're struggling, especially when you are pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Show them that you took a chance on yourself. You took an assignment that was so difficult that you need their help. The more they watch the way you perform, the way you step outside your comfort zone, the way you bet on yourself. Because when you take an assignment that is outside your comfort zone, you are essentially demonstrating that I trust myself to figure this out. And the world takes you at your own estimate, and so does your boss. So if you show him or her that I'm here to create unique value, I'm here to increase my competencies and my confidence so I can create more value in the future. I am taking on this assignment that's going to teach me those competencies. And when I struggle, I'm going to ask for help. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. It shows that you are self-aware. It shows that you know what you're great at and where you need help. Listen, every person that ever became successful got somebody's help along the way. So did your boss.
So what if you take on a stretch assignment and you fail, or you don't make as good of impression as you wanted to? How do you think about it, and what do you do with that?
So when you take on a stretch assignment, there is no such thing as failure. Because no matter what the outcome, which you might consider a failure at that point in time, it's actually not. Because no matter what the outcome, you have now learned something you didn't know before. And that competence will help you create more future value. It will help you make better future decisions because your career is a long-term game. And so if you didn't achieve that outcome, that doesn't mean you made a bad impression. You have to be kind to yourself and say, you know what? I didn't achieve a short-term outcome, but I'm going to achieve a longer-term outcome because these individual experiences themselves don't matter over time. What matters is who you become and what you learn in the process. So reframe your definition of failure. There is no such thing as failure. It's just various degrees of success. And know that that growth is going to set you up for more future success. So that's not called a failure. Wow.
So are there any specific tools that help you accelerate your growth outside your comfort zone?
Yeah. So first of all, and I have an entire chapter in my book called Intentional Growth, right? I teach women how to actually step outside your comfort zone and how to not be afraid of failure because there is no such thing as a failure. So you go into a situation knowing it's going to be challenging, but also understanding that you're betting on yourself. Also understanding that you're taking on this challenge because this challenge is going to teach you competencies. It's going to build relationships that you did not have before, right? And so when you approach this as an adventure to learn new competencies, to build new relationships, then the outcome itself will not matter. Who you become as a result of this will. And even more important, Sabrina, is when you take an assignment that scares you, that pushes you outside your comfort zone, and you figure it out along the way. You enlist the help of your boss, your mentors, whoever has the expertise to help you. When you reach the end of that assignment, you look back, and I want you to reflect upon how scared you were when you started that particular role and how you figured it out. This starts building your confidence, and it's a deep-seated confidence that you trust yourself to figure things out. And when you have that kind of deep-seated confidence, you show up with that power and that confidence in all your interactions. And like I said, the world takes you at your own estimate. When you have confidence in yourself, they will have confidence in you. They will give you even more stretch assignments because they saw that you're willing to bet on yourself. You're willing to step outside your comfort zone. You're willing to stretch your competencies. You're willing to ask for help.
Beautiful. And I just want to make a comment about your book. As I mentioned to you before we started, I actually read it. And it's unusual to read a book where the instructions on how to learn to do something are so clearly laid out and so doable. And you accomplished that in your book. You did a great job on that.
Oh, thank you. And you know why I could do that? Is because I had to learn all this. Nothing came easy to me. It didn't just come naturally. Mm-hmm. I had to learn all this. And that's why I'm able to teach the how-tos.
Yeah. I think that's true for me too. I'm good at coaching, and part of it is because I had to learn all the ways to make things happen. So it's the best teacher to learn those. What are the tools to accelerate? Excuse me, I'm going to ask a different question. What are the 4 types of relationships that help you to emerge as a leader?
Yeah. So in the chapter of intentional relationships in my book, Sabrina, I talk about an American author, Alex Haley, who says, when you see a turtle on a ledge, you know it had help getting there.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Story of my life. There have been so many people that helped me achieve the success. And that was the reason I left my career to help others achieve success. I wanted to honor the people that helped me by paying forward. And so the relationships, the 4 relationships that were the most important, and I teach women about these relationships and how to earn those relationships, because you cannot take any relationship for granted. Mm-hmm. These are relationships with your boss, your peers, your mentors, and your sponsors.
So can you say, I know you need to read the book to totally understand it, but can you say a little more about how to make the most of those relationships?
Yeah. So the obviously the boss relationship, we already talked about the importance of building a relationship with your boss. Yeah. The mentor relationship, I teach women how to find the right mentors, because whenever I speak at a conference, I will ask women, how many of you have mentors? And every single hand goes up, because mentorship is talked about everywhere. And then I ask, how many of your mentors have pushed you, have accelerated your success, have made you better personally or professionally? Half the hands go down. And so we need to be intentional and strategic. These are the 2 keywords. Even when we look for the mentors, we must know, why is this person the right mentor for me at this point in time? And so I teach women how to find the right mentors, the different types of mentors, and then sponsors.
Well, wait, before you go on to that, in your book, you had a woman that was very pivotal in your growth. Would you remind me what her name is?
Susan Whitney.
And could you share that story, because it was so moving? For almost 30 years, I've been an executive coach and consultant, ranging from entrepreneurs to executives and their teams in Fortune 100 companies. One of the key elements I've witnessed countless times that hold people back is an area you generally will not learn in school. That is leadership soft skills. This is what sets exceptional leaders apart from their peers. So I want to tell you something I'm working on that could help you be an exceptional leader and profoundly impact your career, income, and life. First, I want to ask you a few critical questions that may impact your current leadership role and career development. At work, are you well connected and politically savvy? Do you need clarification on what you need to do to get promoted? Do you have communication issues with leaders or direct reports? Would you like to develop job clarity and know the best roles you can excel in? Do you feel stuck and want higher pay and advancement opportunities? Or are you doing okay, but you know you're not maximizing your potential? If you can relate to any of these critical questions, especially if you are a mid-level manager, director, or higher, and seek opportunities, you will like what I'm working on. It will transform your leadership skills, help you stand out, and open new career opportunities much faster than you thought possible. I know there are many of you out there listening who would love to have me as your leadership coach or be a part of my Impact Executive Leadership Mastermind. Great, contact me. But if you're still not ready, I understand. That's why I want to give you a proven leadership roadmap and practical tools that have helped hundreds of leaders for a fraction of the cost of one-on-one coaching with me. This is a step-by-step online course designed for busy but motivated people like you. This cutting-edge leadership course will be released in the spring of 2024. If you want to know more, here's what you need to do. Just go to womensleadershipsuccess.com/contact and submit your contact information and put in the subject line Leadership Course. Thanks again for listening to my podcast and your commitment to your leadership success. Now, back to the show.
Once I joined IBM, as I was telling you, that I was focused on creating unique value because I had learned in my prior job that the only reason they did my green card is because of the unique value that I was contributing. Mm-hmm. And I did a really good job of going to work every single day, contributing unique value. As a result of that, I had received an award called the Rookie Systems Engineer of the Year. And because of that award, I was invited to a women's roundtable. And this women's roundtable was headed by our general manager who had come in from Chicago. Her name is Susan Whitney. I still stay in touch with her. And, Susan's grace, her intelligence, everything about her, the earrings she was wearing, the dress she was wearing, I remember everything to a T. I was just in awe of her. And my boss's boss had asked me to walk her back to his office. And this 2 or 3 minutes that it took us to walk back, she changed my career trajectory. And this is how. So she says, "Congratulations, Shelmina, for winning such a prestigious award." And I thought, oh, wow, she knows about my award. And then just as casually as someone would ask you for your restaurant preference, she goes, "Where do you want to be in 5 years?" And I looked at her with a glazed look in my eye. And I said, "I don't know. I get so busy doing the best possible job in my current role that I don't really think about where I want to be in 5 years." Mm-hmm. She said, "Shelmina, it is critical that you do the best possible job in your current role. And it is equally critical to think about what you want to do next and next. That way, you're always working towards something bigger. You have so much potential." And that got me to start thinking about what I was doing as a long-term strategic career instead of a job that I was doing. And while I didn't know the answer to her question right away, she planted a seed. And eventually, I enlisted her as my mentor. And I talk about in the book, because she was at a much higher level, but I was so inspired by her. I was so impressed by her that I did whatever I had to do to get her to notice me, to get her to spend some time with me, to get her to mentor me. And she did.
Oh, what a beautiful story. I love it. And I want to take just a little turn here. I was a single mother, going through college, which I did after my kids were going to school, and in my master's degree. And you mentioned being a single mother, and so many women are single mothers. And could you share a little bit about the struggle you had and then what changed for you?
Yeah. Sabrina, I became a single mom when my kids were 4 and 2. And it happened suddenly. It happened unexpectedly. And it happened a few months after I got my very first promotion. And it had taken me 10 years to get that first promotion. Mm-hmm. But when that happened, I was completely devastated. I was overwhelmed. I was preoccupied. I was neither good as a mother, nor was I good as a sales leader. And I decided something had to give because I was failing my children. I was failing my team. And so I decided that— I
want you to just back up, because I remember in the book you said, and I can relate to this, you said the kids did something and you yelled at them, made one of them cry. And then you said to yourself, what am I doing? And I think I want you to share that, because it feels like that's when you've got the burden of earning a living and raising the kids and you don't have a lot of support, you're not going to always do it right.
Yeah.
And share some more about that and then what happened.
Yeah. I will. And the book has the details. In fact, the day I made them cry was the day I decided I was going to give up my leadership role, because I was neither good at home, nor was I good at work. I was overwhelmed, preoccupied, and littlest things would set me off because I wasn't taking care of myself. Yeah. I was overly tired. I couldn't sleep. And frankly, those were the darkest days of my life. However, they also became the most transformative days of my life, because instead of giving up my leadership role, which I came so close to, and the reason I didn't is every ounce of my being, it was aching. It rebelled against the decision to give up my leadership role, because I had worked so hard to achieve that promotion. And so that forced me to find a way to thrive both as a mother and as a leader. Because initially I had convinced myself I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And then when my body started rebelling, it forced me to find a way to do it. And interestingly enough, one of the things that I had to do was I had to put myself as my number one priority. Because prior to me becoming single, I was good about taking care of myself. I would wake up in the morning, I'd do some yoga, I'd do some meditation, I would sleep well at night, I would eat breakfast. I showed up in my full glory wherever I was. As soon as I became single, I started putting my kids' priorities ahead of my own priorities, which is what most women do. And not realizing that when I don't take care of my own self and I deplete my own self of my energy, I bring a suboptimized mother, suboptimized leader to all my interactions. The interactions are not the best and the outcomes are not the best. Mm-hmm. The moment I realized that I take myself wherever I go, all my experiences are me and the situation. The situation is what it is. I can't change it. But who I am determines the experience. And so when I am filled up, then I bring my best self to the situation. The interaction is great. The outcome is great. When I'm not filled up, I bring a terrible self to that interaction. And then I get upset with everything, including my children. It's not even their fault. The problem is me, not them. But because I'm so tired and so depleted of my own energy, I'm not able to bring my best self to them. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I decided to put myself as my number one priority, and I started radically prioritizing my life outside of work, at work I had already figured out how to focus my attention on my highest and my most strategic priorities. That's what made me successful at work. The same discipline I applied at home, because there were too many tasks, too much to do, too much vying for my attention. I had to sit back and decide what really matters. What are my top priorities? Those are the only things that deserve my attention. And I have to set boundaries and say no to everything else. Mm-hmm. And so understanding trade-offs, understanding what to say yes to, what to say no to. And I said more no's than I did yes. And Warren Buffett has this quote that says, the difference between successful people and highly successful people is that highly successful people will say no to almost everything, because you only focus your attention on your highest, most strategic priorities, both at work as well as at home.
Oh, I love it. And I'm thinking I've worked with 3 or 4 people that are working globally. And for instance, one is in an Asian country, and the headquarters is in Europe, and headquarters calls what's the middle of the night for the person in Asia. And so they're not getting sleep. They're awake when they should be sleeping. And it just doesn't work, because then they're not doing the good work anywhere. And having the courage to set a boundary and say, I'm not available after 9 at night or before 6 in the morning, to set boundaries that for whatever reason, some people don't get that people need boundaries.
So 2 things, right? When you become essential to the success of your organization, and we talked about value creation, you earn the right, and you are in a position of power to negotiate what you want and what you don't want. Okay. So remember that. The second thing you want to remember is that you have a choice where you work.
Oh, I love that. So if it's a bad boss or the conditions are terrible.
And if you're not able to show up as your best self, and if you're not able to create maximum value, then why are you wasting your time? Remember, you're never stuck.
Oh, that's so important. And just one last question. What is a personal success plan?
Yeah. So, once you define success, the first chapter is intentional definition of success. Mm-hmm. Once you define success, once you know where you want to be in 5 years, like Susan Whitney asked me, mm-hmm. and then you make your 12-month, your short-term definition of success that leads you towards your 5-year definition of success. Once you define that, then you determine your strategic priorities. Your personal success plan is a plan that keeps you on track week after week after week to achieve your success. Because unfortunately, what happens is if you don't focus on creating success every day, every week, you will not achieve your success. And your personal success plan keeps you on track, because success is not achieved one fine day. Success is achieved every single day, every single meeting, every single hour. And so your personal success plan is something you look at every week. You course correct, you learn, you celebrate your small wins, and you move on, right? And it keeps you on track. You never veer away from your strategic and your highest priorities. Your plan is there to keep you on track for success. And then in my book, I also talk about adding the other strategies as your priorities, because most people will achieve their business outcomes. But that's not what's going to make you successful long term. What's going to make you successful long term is not just achieving your business outcomes, but it's about growing your competence. It's about building the relationship. It is about intentionally building the leadership plan and leadership brand. And so I ask you to make all those strategies your strategic priorities. So when you go to work every day, it's not just about achieving your business outcome. It's about deciding, how do you want to show up? What kind of impressions do you want to leave behind? What brand are you creating? What relationships are you building? How are you building those relationships? It's front and center of every interaction.
Oh, so beautiful. And we're almost done with the interview, but your show is being published during International Women's Month. So you said that you have a really important thing that you are saying this year, which is inspiration and inclusion. Can you say a little more about that? It's not only what we're doing personally, but how we want to help all of our sisters, especially our sisters of color. So would you say some more about that, please?
For sure. I'm really glad that the theme for International Women's Day this year is very much aligned with the work I'm doing. Every year during Women's History Month, we have a hashtag. Last year, the hashtag was no more biases. We all got up, we took pictures with our hands crossed, no more biases, but nothing really changed. Today, because of the geopolitical climate, there's more biases in the workplace than there were last year. And for me, I want to make sure that this Women's History Month is not just another hashtag, that we truly do inspire inclusion. So I'm doing multiple things. For example, when I speak, and I speak at quite a few companies during Women's History Month, I'm speaking at IBM, SAP, Dropbox, Bristol Myers Squibb, Harvard. I'm speaking at a lot of different companies, and instead of charging them what I charge to speak, I am asking them to gift my book to their women. I'm also offering to go back at no cost to do a book club. So they will read the book, and they will have the ability to ask me questions after they have read the book to make sure that they stay on track. Let's own this. Let us opt into the leadership pipeline so we can create inclusion in leadership roles, we can become the change that we want to see. And I'm also working on an app called showyourworth.ai. So my insights and my wisdom will be available to any woman globally in multiple languages. So it becomes her companion for her to maximize her leadership potential.
Wow, I love it. When you get your app done, would you let me know, and we'll put it up on Women's Leadership Success so it's available to women there too.
It would be my honor to do that. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you. And thank you so much for doing this show today. I really, really appreciate it.
I want to thank you for doing what you do. You impact so many women, and I'm so glad I'm able to share my wisdom with all the amazing women that listen to you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening today. We hope this encourages you and helps you to be a better leader. Let me know what you think. Do you like this new additional format? Here's how you can let me know and connect with me. Please comment on the show notes on Women's Leadership Success, or connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a private message. And could you do me a favor? Please share our podcast with friends and associates who would benefit from these targeted topics. Also, please subscribe and let me and your peers know the action you took on this topic via your comments and accolades in your favorite podcast platform.
Thank you for joining your host, Sabrina Brahm, on another Women's Leadership Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email her at sabrina@sabrinabrahm.com. Since 1989, Sabrina and her team have helped hundreds of women managers, business leaders, and entrepreneurs with valuable trainings, articles, books, and executive coaching. For additional tips, interviews, and free access to Great Leaders Today mini course, visit www.womensleadershipsuccess.com.